Well, it looks like we've used our get out of jail free card. 2-2 at the Emirates. Let's discuss. Evening all. James, Foods, good to have you guys on. Not the best performance we've seen. It seems like we've kind of a little bit that little pop fizz we had against them down the lane. We've kind of lost that kind of little bit that vibrancy. We started off well, but we just couldn't maintain it. Gums, man, what's going on? Talk to me, man. What's going on? 2-2. As well. Did we even deserve a point?
Not really.
No way.
Goals we conceded were mistakes. To concede 2 of the same goals in one game is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, to me, the most telling part is quick we had to just hold up possession and let teams attack. So we end up going behind, and they're the big issues for me. It's Tottenham, we didn't do it, we went for them. But if you remember the second half, we were dire, but 3-0 done. But today, first 10 minutes, we were really good. Looked alive, bright, got the goal, and then we just sat back and let them come at us. And you get what you deserve when you do that. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, we just got to take it on the chin. Lucky to get a point. Where did he come from?
Come on. Our resident eagle in there. How you doing, Ian?
I thought I'd crash the show.
Why not? I mean, look, listen. Our old boys come to his old stomping ground, so to speak. Tell the truth. If the truth be said, we were very, very lucky to come out of anything from that game. He's drilled Palace very well, I think, and they play. They actually do play. Future Arsenal manager, dare I say? But anyway, look, listen, we're just sitting in this game. So look, listen. I mean, how from an Eagles point of view, how happy was you with your performance?
Gosh, I'm just about to lose battery. Keep talking a sec.
Oh, okay. In that case,
I'll be in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Let me just plug the battery in.
No worries. Boots. I mean, listen, it's wasn't a great performance against Brighton, and it seems like I was happy with the lineup that we started with. Went for it. First 8 minutes, we get a goal. Aubameyang. We started off exactly the way that we wanted to start off against the Crystal Palace team, because we know that they can be hard to break down. What went wrong after that?
Don't know. It was almost like the second half of the Spurs game, like, as in the intensity was gone. Like, Aubameyang set the tone. He was on it, wasn't he, from the start, literally running after everything. Like, had about 7 Red Bulls before the game, mate. And then after that, no one can come out of that game really, other than Aubameyang, for me, with any credit. It was literally
Lacazette when he came on, to be fair.
Yeah, Lacazette, and Martinelli looked sharp. I think he now needs game time. I think that's quite apparent. Like, get him some game time now. Like, I know we haven't got many games not being in Europe, but it's a must, because they weren't cutting it. There's just too many bad performances, like Odegaard, Dyer. The people who you rely on to keep the ball, Odegaard, Partey, Lokonga, the central midfielders, they're just wasteful. Literally, just like giving the ball away. It was just awful. Pepe looked like he's gone back to Pepe when he signed, trying to dribble past a couple man, and then just running out of ideas, making the wrong decision. It was just, it's more to do with, as well, where the application wasn't there. That's what winds me up even more. Like, Aubameyang is doing that from the front. Everyone else should have been on that. And I didn't see that.
Exactly. No, I 100%
Did anyone watch the Gary Neville assessment of the United game and the concerns about the Arsenal team? Because what he said about United was they really played 5 attacking players and they were utterly detached from defence, and therefore they could carve up through the middle. And then he had this debate with them about the fact that technically Arsenal had picked a similar sort of lineup, but they felt that they had the ability and less prima donnas to be able to drop back, etc. And I think he was right. I think there was one attacker too much, not enough midfield in the selection, a bit like United's choice. And Arsenal were good in the first 15 minutes and the last 15 minutes and utterly lost intensity, just like he showed United didn't press. It was so similar. It was untrue.
Yeah,
when Lokonga come on, it didn't really make any difference.
Exactly.
That was the thing. I think it's got good feet.
Two mistakes. It was 2 mistakes that cost us. Both, as Gummers said, both similar ways where got robbed, and then the recovery back. But the thing is, though, with the second goal, there was 3 mistakes in that goal. Obviously, the first bit being Lokonga. Then my thing is, White. Well, if you look at Edouard, didn't have to do anything spectacular to make that yard for himself to get the shot off. So my thing there, I'm a bit upset with White not making him do something, making it hard for him. And then maybe Ramsdale, coming on to you now, James. Maybe his first mistake in an Arsenal shirt. Really, I think he probably anticipated that he was going to cross goal rather than going to hammer it into the top center of the net. I mean, give me your assessment of how we did today.
I just thought we were poor across the pitch. First 10 minutes we looked lively, and then we were second to every single ball. Like, I don't know what it was. The whole team collectively today didn't. They weren't. It seemed like they weren't them usual selves. Like the passes they should be making were misplaced. Touches that should be easy to control weren't being controlled, and I felt like, as Gumza said, as soon as Alba scored, we were a completely different team. Like, I don't know what changed the momentum of the game or whatever it was, but I feel like even though we hate him, it's showing the demand we need for a central midfielder in the mold of Granit Xhaka. I'm not saying we get someone like that, but for another body in there. Now, trust me, for the profile Granit Xhaka is, you can see the difference it makes within our team. We're overrunning the middle, right? We had no control. And this is why I was disappointed when he brought on Lokonga, because I feel like Thomas Partey and Lokonga are 2 similar profiles. Thomas Partey is a lot more experienced than Lokonga, and you can see how positionally and inexperienced Lokonga is. And that's why I would have gone with El Neni, because I feel like El Neni gives us that stability in the base. Yes, he might not be the most glamorous midfielder, but he knows defensively where to be, and he can stop that ball. We were just overrunning midfield today, and that's where I think we lost the game, is we didn't have the right bodies in the midfield.
Did anyone go crazy about that last minute? I actually walked off when it was at 2-1, to be fair, and only heard that we scored when I heard my kids like screaming. Ian, how has Vieira changed things from Roy Hodgson? What's changed fundamentally? You're on mute.
The first thing for the last 4 or 5 years when I've gone to watch Palace in London, I've screamed at the back. I referred to the central defenders as like the widow Twankies. You've got Dan and Tompkins, and they were so desperately slow and never brought the ball out. So I think step one, they signed 2 really mobile, and I was going to ask you about your centre backs who bring the ball out and can actually play football, and a Wheater to actually come off his line and bring the ball. So the first thing he's done is to inject more pace and a bit more risk, taking the ball out from the back to give them that expansiveness coming forward. I think MacArthur and Luca are still a bit slow in that midfield, and hopefully in January they look at one of the two of them. Gallagher, and then just in it's youth and pace everywhere, and maybe Arsenal should be thankful that Wilf got tummy bug or whatever on his travels, because that could have really hurt. Because I thought Palace were a weird formation in the first half, playing 2 through the middle, but nobody on the left apart from the fullback, which was really strange. So the question I wanted to ask you
started
guys,
on the left, and then I think there was a shift midway through the first half where he brought him more in central, and that's when we had problems, I believe.
Palace were overrun for that first 15, 20 minutes right through the middle of midfield. I thought MacArthur and Luca were just desperately slow chasing shadows. But the question I wanted to ask you guys really was, for a £50 million centre half and Gabriel, who has got a good reputation, could they have brought the ball out a bit quicker? Could there have been more pace from the central defenders out? They seem to, at home, concentrate on defending, not on getting the flow of the game going.
I think personally it's a collective. Again, it's that desire to want to play football. We went 1-0 up, and again we just started kicking long balls. And I get what people say about Lukonga's position and Xhaka and whatever else, but actually it starts from bravery at the back for me. Palace were brave every time. I think until the 85th minute, your keeper didn't kick the ball once. From the start, obviously sometimes when it went back to him, he then went long. But the first thought is let's try and play, and if we can't, then we try and hit Benteke. Whereas Arsenal, it seems like we go 1-0 up and then we kick long. And the worst thing with this is we don't compress the pitch when we kick and pick up the second ball. So all we're doing is giving it back to your centre backs, and then they're pressing on us. So Gabriel and White, they take a bit of. Actually, it comes from the mentality of just sticking to your philosophy for me. And I think we're too quick to start just kicking long balls at the moment. And then the game just dies off for us after that moment. We don't have possession. Do you know what I mean? Alba did work his socks off today, but he's just running around, bless him, like Odegaard does. Yeah, it's just too easy. Once you brought the ball down and started playing from 20 minutes in, we didn't touch the ball. The stats were crazy, like 60-something% possession you had for like most of the first half. Do you know what I mean? And we only then kick-started again.
There was 10 minutes when Palace had 70% of the possession.
Yeah,
it was that. You only owned the first 15 and the last 15. The rest the game was Palace, and I just thought maybe scored too early and the intensity fell away. But gosh, it fell off a cliff.
We saw this. We saw the same against Brighton and against Tottenham in the second half, where we just stopped playing football. So I think Arteta does have to take a bit of blame.
Is it fitness? Because we have not scored. We've only scored. We've only scored 2 goals in the second half this whole season.
Yeah, but bro, we stopped playing after 15 minutes.
Wasn't the stat that only Norwich scored less?
Yeah.
I know Nigerian Englishman has put a couple of quotes up there saying that it's the players to blame, not the manager. Does anyone share that same view?
I think a bit of both, to be honest, because the individual errors, that's not Arteta's fault. If you're just going to be lackluster, just waiting around for the ball, like we made, errors that's down to the players, isn't it? But how we set up, and did he change things for the better? Like Eagles is saying, I think, it's quite clear we wasn't really and Gums is saying as a collective, we're not brave enough. So surely he's just got to instill that in the players. Like he's got to say, you've got to be braver. Like, I just don't feel like we took enough risks. And I think just when you've got a combination of bad tactics and the players not turning up and application, it's just going to be a shit show, ain't it?
Yeah. And that's it. It turned out to be that way. We turn around very quickly, James, against Villa. Can you see Arteta shaking anything up or going with the same kind of? I mean, there's not much that can change really. Will it be more of the same?
Yeah, I'd like to see either Martinelli or Laka have a bit of a go. They both looked impressive when they came on. Maybe it was only a small cameo, but I liked what Lacazette was doing. He brought some energy, and when Martinelli had the ball, he was actually driving at players. As Gums said, we weren't taking risks. We were being a bit more conservative than we should have been. It was always go Tierney on the left flank and then pass it back, and then over and over again. And when Martinelli had the ball, he was driving and he was creating opportunities. So I don't know. I wouldn't want to play Odegaard as an 8. I don't like playing Odegaard as an 8. I feel like his position is the 10. So for me, it's just a restructuring that pivot. I'd like to see Al Neni come in, even though I never thought I'd be saying that. With our options, I like to see Al Neni come in and just offer a bit of stability. Like, we were individually, mistakes cost us the game, but we were the worst team. And I just feel like there is options to play with. And if we don't get it right, Villa are a very, very good side, and they can easily beat us by a handful of goals.
Do you think, though, okay, barring the 2 mistakes, I'm not going to blame Lokonga. Okay, I mean, listen, he knows now, or he's beginning to know now, that there is no easy games in the Prem, that you don't get time on the ball in the Prem. Lokonga now, I'm hoping now he kind of like learns from that and takes that on board. Partey, however, he knows what the Prem's about. He knows you don't no game you get any time whatsoever. I'm just kind of really, really disappointed. We had a chance there to really put a performance in. But going to goal. Normally, it's notorious against Palace. We leave it late to score against them, or it's a really hard battle. But we scored early, and I thought we was just going to go from strength to strength today. Who's next up for you then, Ian? Eagles, and can you guys see yourselves? I mean, this is
I'm going on
Saturday. Like 3 games that you have. 4 games that you've let a lead slip in the 90th minute or injury time in. That must be
That's what all the guys on the Palace group were saying tonight. There's probably 6 points that Palace have just given away so far this season. But anyway, home to Newcastle Saturday afternoon, 3:00.
That's 3 points, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd have thought so. Palace has got to be able to roll over those. A possible win at Arsenal was more than Palace could have hoped for, but a home win against Newcastle is the least Palace could expect.
Yeah.
I was going to say, when I look at Arsenal's team, I think there's some really exciting players in Saka and Smith Rowe and Martinelli and Tierney. I love all those players, and hopefully the rest will come together. But look at Conor Gallagher. Much as though Palace don't want to lose him, if Arsenal have a bit of money, bloody hell, you should go out and buy him. He's the same
very
sort.
Tenacious.
He's like he's a bit of a Smith Rowe kind of player, and Saka kind of player. He would be really good. I mean, I wouldn't want Palace to lose him. But
problem is he's at Chelsea. Chelsea would not sell him to us,
maybe. I mean, they let Gueye go to Palace, 15 million.
Yeah,
and last season he wasn't great at West Brom.
He was decent enough, I think, at West Ham, but he's come on. He's definitely come on this season with Palace. He started the season.
When you look at him, he looks in the similar vein to some of the young players at Arsenal. Was just my thing. The way he flows and his tenacity.
Yeah, no. I mean, just one thing I did kind of was a bit worried about. I don't know if anyone else caught it as well. That Smith Rowe, he kind of faded big time in that second half, I believe. I don't know. He just, whether it is once, was it Partey went off? That was it. He hardly ever got onto the ball, and I was just a bit. This is the kind of time that that kind of play you want to see him on the ball as much as possible. I was a bit kind of like disappointed with that because he's one of our most creative, players. You want to see those players on the ball creating something, but it just didn't happen. I'm
I think you have to give Palace credit for that.
I guess so. Yeah.
No, really.
They killed the space, didn't they?
Yeah.
Sorry, Boots, go on.
No, I was just saying. I think I mentioned it on here before, like with his character. See, I've read a few things where they're trying to get his confidence up. It's almost like he doesn't believe how good he is. And it's kind of like, certain players, they just go and they want to own the game, take it by the scruff of the neck. I don't know if he's at that level yet. So these are the sort of moments, like you're saying, it's so bad, but we're relying on him as our main creative option almost. So he needs to go and do that. He's not doing it at the moment. And I don't want to be flip-flop, but what's worrying me at the moment is the consistency just all around the team. Like Partey will have a couple good games, you think decent. He's going to now go on a run. Odegaard will do the same. Pepe. It's just like, do you see what I mean? Like there's too many inconsistent performances with the players at the moment, and that's a big worry for me. Because every time you think, all right, cool, the Tottenham game might click on here, we kind of just had two really like lackluster performances now, haven't we?
100%. Dash of Sports here. Playing Partey on his own has never ever been a great idea, considering his injury record. So
I didn't think he played by himself though. He didn't play by himself.
No, I think he was playing with
Odegaard played next to him, and then Nakonga coming next to him. Like I get when you see the lineup, you think it's going to be more of a base of Partey and two in front, but it really wasn't that. It was definitely Odegaard next to him, which didn't really work. But at the same time, again, I think that's down more to lack of character rather than actually the shape of the team.
Do you think we missed a trick here? How
much did they pay for him? How much did he go for?
Cheap, like 17, was it?
Yeah, it's worth a punt, isn't it? That's the kind of signings we were going for as well, wasn't it? All of our kind of signings have been at that level, so yeah, I would.
We was talking a lot about Tomiyasu against Wilf. Joe in English when he said Tomiyasu looked suspect tonight. Whenever he doesn't keep it simple, he looked shaky. He needs to keep it simple or hoof it. Great defensively though. I think he was pretty solid enough defensively. I mean, sometimes he was just hoofing it, but I think I don't know. What do you guys think?
Is he a right back?
Well, he's primarily
not a right-sided central defender.
No, he is a right back. He is right back. I mean,
he can play right centre back as well, but I think he essentially is a right back. Yeah.
Anyone? Any views on Tomiyasu's performance at all? I personally thought it was
pretty much similar to everyone else. Just okay, isn't it?
Yeah.
He didn't have Wilf running at him. He had young Mitchell and a very lopsided left-hand side for the first half of the game. So actually, he should thank his lucky stars down that flank, because I don't know why they didn't pick Jeffrey Schlupp to play on that left-hand side and Zaha, and actually only play either Benteke or Edouard through the centre. I didn't get that. That was weird.
You say that though, but both of them scored.
Yeah. I mean, from a opposition's perspective, what do you make of Arsenal and where they would finish this season or should finish?
Well, I thought they were on a roll. I mean, I heard interestingly during the game, one that the commentator said something like, if Arsenal win that game and win on Friday, they'll go fourth. Yeah. So, I thought Arsenal were on the rise. I've always liked Arteta. I've always believed in his ethic. But you're right. Like the manager and the team seem to lose their way. What worries me is, Pep would have been and Klopp would have been bananas for intensity. Intensity is now the Premier League. And, you can't let that drop. Like United were found out for that. So I think the critical bit, and I don't know whether it's fitness or drive or whether Arteta is hard enough, but he's got to get intensity. He's got to get more pressing, more intensity. He's got to play the whole game like the first 15 minutes. And the top managers can do that. You also see Potter at Brighton do that. You even see the guy at Southampton do that. Get consistency, but it's not consistency of the individual players, it's consistency of a whole team's game of intensity. And again, I'd still go back to that. You need to move it quicker from the back and keep it on the deck.
Yeah. I just don't get it. It's we start off with that intensity, we get the goals, and then we just sit back. I just don't get it. It just doesn't make any sense.
I know. That's what I mean, because the Spurs game, obviously, everything was great, wasn't it? Like how we set up, how we went about the game. We can play like that. So this is what it's very confusing, especially like you say, 15 minutes in, and it's silly. If it is a case of we scored too soon, surely his tactic is not like, okay, let's now take a bit of a back seat, because he didn't do that against Spurs, did he? We just carried on, took the juggler to him.
Exactly.
And we scored free, didn't we? So very strange tonight.
I guess Dasher Sports here has probably got the Arsenal kind of mindset right now. The Arsenal fan.
He's my guy, Dash. He's my guy, Dash.
Yeah,
He's a very positive Arsenal fan.
Like that.
I think.
He's a very positive Arsenal.
Yeah,
fan.
I think if there is a positive, we didn't lose. That's the only positive I can find from this.
Yeah.
You know, we started well and we didn't lose. We need to.
Can I throw something in?
Yeah.
So I said the other week I'd play Lacazette with Abba on the left, and you lot slaughtered me for it. And within about 5 minutes of them two playing together, we opened. Didn't create a major chance, but we started to get in behind a bit.
I
wouldn't mind that.
That's something we need to go with.
Yeah, I was going to ask actually, and I was going to ask you guys: is there any way that we can shoehorn those two play? I don't know, a solid enough formation where those two play up front together?
Yeah, I think it's got to be done. I think Lacazette offers too much not to be playing him.
Yeah.
And obviously Abbott is the clinical one.
Yeah. Especially how often we go long, right?
And again, we're shoehorning Odegaard, Smith.
I'm going to leave you guys in peace. Have a lovely evening. And the dice.
Cheers.
Enjoy your evening,
Good luck for Friday.
We're going to get the whiskey out now and drown ourselves.
Good luck for Friday.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So what formation could we play then with those two up top?
I don't know about two up top, but I'd go Aubameyang on the left, because the thing is, I think it's always a bit of a myth that he can't play there, because, you know, at times in the first part of Arteta's tenure, don't you remember, sometimes we're seeing Aubameyang like left back. He would track back. He grafts for the team like he was today. And like, I think he's better suited as a 9, like you say, like Lacazette is, opposed to Aubameyang in the way we're playing. Like, as in when we're going long today, so Laka might have held some of them balls up. Do you see what I mean? So
I hear what you're saying, and I get that 100%. The only thing is though, them two link up better when Aubameyang's in the middle.
I hear you, like they did in the second half.
Yeah. And you know,
they
Aubameyang tries those kind of things because he knows, because you know, he just knows his movements.
Yeah.
Coming off the left, his game is totally different. I think with Aubameyang, but I hear what
again. I think with Palace today, Edouard played very close to Benteke, and do you know what I mean? Football, yes, on paper it might look that way of he's on the left, but actually football's, we all know, is fluid and people move around in spaces. Again, Smith Rowe links up very well with Lacazette as well, and he's not opposed to going out to the left. So actually, you could almost play Aubameyang as a striker and Laka almost just behind. You know what I mean? Work on something, but I just think the way they link today, you can see they look for each other.
Yeah.
Didn't you play like that, don't they? Iniesta and Vardy, at the moment, them two, when they play together centrally, it kind of works.
What was the
and I think it's like what you say, because they've got a both strikers mentality. They just they know where the striker's going to make the
person's run.
You see what I mean?
They know that.
I agree with what you're saying.
Did we play when we played against Valencia? Because that, for me, that game when you had playing, I'm trying to remember the formation, because for me that was the most. We actually blew them away at the Mestalla, and the way those two played together. And I know that Aubameyang weren't coming off the left; he was playing more central.
Yeah,
and also Lacazette was as well. But I'm just trying to wrap my brains around the actual formation that we played that day, and with the players that we have now, could that kind of formation come back? Could we play? But Arteta really just wants to play with a 4-3-3, doesn't he? I think that's his blueprint really for how we play.
I suppose Smith Rowe could go on the left, Saka on the right, and then Partey with whoever.
That was one thing as well, wasn't it? That Saka was. I mean, but then Pepe was involved with the goal.
I would keep playing 4-4-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not enough else for me. Not enough else for me. Yeah, anything to get Laka in the team, if I'm honest. Even going to a 3-5-2 and playing with two strikers, I just think he offers too much and he brings others into the game where you can see we struggle to do that at times. So for me, he has to play and be the focal point until we get another striker who can do that role. And Pepe he has flash. Goes into it, he just miscontrols it, or It bounces off him, and you can't build off that. If you're Tomiyasu, you don't know whether to go or stay because do I go and then he loses it and now I've got to now dig back in, or do I sit in? Yeah, it's just those little things that are a big difference.
Dash of Sports here. You know what? He said something that I've been thinking the last few games. I'm not sure if James, do you see that as well? With Tierney, kind of seems to, is he injured or something? Because where he'd be like,
or he's worried, maybe
and then going and taking on the right back and stuff, and then whipping it across. I've not seen that for even against Tottenham. He didn't really do that. Anyone?
I've clocked it as well. Yeah, exactly what he's saying. I kind of felt exactly. Someone mentioned it in this stream. Like it's going to Tierney, and then where he would push on and try and do the fullback, he's going back inside, isn't he? And like he's one of our biggest outlets, isn't he?
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like, so yeah, I've clocked that as a good point.
James, at all? I mean, is it any kind of thing tactically that you're seeing there that why, or I don't know, is he not moving right? Is there anything that you can see why Tierney's not doing that anymore?
Nah, I don't know. I'm not looking too deeply into it. I'd like to see him being more aggressive. I think that's his best skill set as a left back is his dynamism going forward and the ability to beat players. Like he's really quick and he's really good at the ball. And he has got a wicked cross, but I don't know. I think he wasn't. He was frustrating tonight, but he wasn't in fault for the goals we conceded. And no. But for me, if he can offer more, but I feel like we've got bigger issues on the pitch to focus on. So I don't know. We'll see. I would have liked to. Again, it comes back to the whole premise of what Gummer was saying. It felt like we were playing within our shell today. We didn't want to play Arsenal football. We weren't expansive. We weren't taking risks. And then because we weren't doing these things that we normally do or we have seen, we were making errors, and we saw them in the goal. Like in the goals we conceded, they're so poor. Like from this back five, I know it's not really their fault, but they weren't as solid as what we've seen. Like for the past 4 games, they've been solid, and it didn't feel like that. Maybe it was just the whole team today. I just felt it's an off game. I think it was just really sloppy throughout. So I don't know. I think if we were going to change something up, I'd like to see a variation of a 4-4-2, maybe, but with instead of a left mid, right mid, more of like a left attacking mid and a right attacking mid. Yeah. So you have Saka on the right, Smith on the left, and Alba and Laka up top, and then the 2 centre mids. So again, a variation, so they can when we don't have the ball, they can come back into like a 4-4,
sure,
the 2 backs, and then when we have the ball, be a bit more expressive. But I don't know. It's for Arteta to figure out. It feels like we've gained a point because we didn't deserve to win, but it also feels like 2 points lost.
If Tierney would have scored, we would have won it, man. With the bar, we should have won it, man.
That was like it's just fractions, wasn't it? They hit the bar and it goes in. We hit the bar and it comes out, and literally it just missed Lacazette as well. For an easy tapping. And I just think this is right here again for Dash of Sports, hitting the nail on the head. Our football's slow. We do this kind of shoehorn movement around there, flipping 18-yard box. I don't know. As you know, I think James has said that maybe a variation of 4-4-2, maybe that might speed our game up a bit, but we just seem to kind of make everything so slow. It's a shame. Don't
you think as well, like it's you're seeing like if everyone's on job, if everyone's playing well, then that changes the whole perspective of everything. Do you see what I mean? Everyone's energetic, everyone's on form. At the moment, you're just seeing, okay, Aubameyang will play well a couple games, then he'll go missing a couple, then Partey might play too good. Do you see what I mean? Like, it's not cohesive. Like, so I don't know. I think that's the consistency at the moment for me is the biggest worry.
Yeah. No, 100%. Nigerian Englishman, I said Laka should have started the last 2 games. You don't always have to start over FFS, we know what that means. But actually, I thought Aubameyang was all right today. I've got no issues with Aubameyang today. I think if we can shoehorn, Lacazette, I feel he needs to play, because what he's come on and done every time he's come on, he's always offered something, a variation and given the defense something else to actually worry about. rather than someone just running in behind kind of thing.
Definitely.
Last one before we just wrap up. Last question for you guys, just one or the other. Martinelli or Pepe? Gumza.
The worst thing is Pepe first half defensively was very poor. But then it's just them little moments. And I think Martinelli just hasn't been given a chance. So I actually want to see him.
He looked quite sharp when he come on, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I think he deserves a go. He deserves a run out. Like we haven't been, even though we've had good results recently, we haven't been outstanding. And actually no one should have a position in this 11. Do you know what I mean? Apart from the back five, everyone else should be worried about losing their spot and actually give him a go. And I think Pepe started like, I haven't played in a while. I need to prove my point. The first half, I saw that in him, and then it kind of faded. But again, that comes
100%.
with he's playing in his own half. Like he's doing skills on the edge of our box. Do you know what I mean? Done a nutmeg right on our court, right, almost giving away a corner. And it's like, actually, he should be doing that at the other end. So I do feel for them. I think I would like to see 1 week where one of our wingers just cheats and says, I'm not tracking back. And then when we know in the ball, we've got something to hit, we can then counter, because all we do is hoof it. It goes straight to the centre back. We don't even get out of our half. I would like for someone to just be able to cheat one game and, you know what I mean, give us an out ball, because at the moment it's just too easy. Once we get pushed back, we can't get out, and then we just pray for half time.
Because Aubameyang is not that guy to hit the ball at for him to hold.
And to be fair, he's back there defending as well. Do you know what I mean? He's defending.
It felt like at times they had like 12 man and we had like 9. You know, like just no options, man.
We're deep, but yet we're still not pressing the ball or tight to anybody. Do you know what I mean? They're just keeping possession. It's crazy, but I would go for Martinelli.
Okay, make it make sense, Arteta, please. James, Martinelli or Pepe?
Yeah, there's no question for me. Again, everyone's going to call me a Pepe here, but I genuinely, I feel like he's a detriment to the team when he plays it ahead of Bukayo Saka and we move Saka on the left. So for me, I'd have Saka on the right and Martinelli on the left. There's glimpses, as Gumza said, there's glimpses of talent there, but in terms of build-up, in terms of general play, I feel like he's a bit more of a detriment than he is a helpful player. And yes, he's improved he has definitely improved his game defensively. He works harder and he does track back. I just feel like, I will say this throughout the season, unless he starts bagging like 20 goals and 10 assists, right? He is a great player, just not for the way we play. And for me, it's Martinelli all day.
Boots?
Yeah, same Martinelli.
Yeah.
There's no one who's been standout to be like, you know, nailed from the front options, obviously other than the back five, like Gums is saying. I still feel even like Pepe's improved defensively, attacking as well. Like from when he first come into the league, I feel like he has learned his trade a bit better. But I do still question his decision making is still questionable for me. Like he's still he'll do so, even in this game. He's doing the first bit right, so he gets the ball under control. Got a good first touch. Maybe does the first man. Now you don't go and dribble past the next man because another one's doubled up on you. You can't do that now. Lay it off. He's doing that too much. He don't sense the danger of like losing the ball, and it happens far too often.
Yeah.
He
also slows the play down, I feel sometimes.
Exactly.
Did you hear the interview Van Nistelrooy gave when he talked about Ronaldo, where he was saying he'd make his run, Ronaldo would do 2 step overs and then do a Cruyff and come back.
I did actually,
and Van Nistelrooy said I had to pin him and say get the ball in the box. And again, everything's habit and repetition. So if you know Pepe is going to do 2 step overs, cut on his left and deliver, Aubameyang knows that's when I make my run. But he does it one, then he'll go back on his right foot, then he'll go. And how do you, if you're the striker, how do you work off that?
You can't work off that, man, because it's all pure 100%. Luck, isn't it?
You don't know when you're going to. And I think the same argument was with Saha a few years ago, wasn't it? No one knew what he was going to do. So you can't, it's very difficult as your striker to work off a winger like that. Yeah. So, for us as fans, it looks brilliant.
So good. That's why Saka's so good. At his age,
they know
his decision making is so on point. Like,
they know
for me, he's so advanced to Pepe in that respect. So he's only going to get better. And if Pepe, how old is Pepe now?
26, is he?
Yeah, come on, man. You should know better, mate. You should know better by now, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Nigerian Englishman looks like Martinelli. I'll go for Martinelli as well because he actually looked bloody sharp tonight, man. I was like, oh, you know what I mean? I want to see some more of that. I'd like to see him through the centre though, to cause trouble through the centre against centre backs. But hey, yes. Look, before we go, Dash of Sports. But hey, before I go, just leaving positive, we've got our next game on Friday at home.
I love Dash, I love Dash, man. Even the most negative time,
Cool.
he's still positive. I nearly
that
kicked
will
my
be-
TV, Dash, bruv, and you're talking positive.
And stay blessed, Dash.
Come on, bro.
Seriously, stay blessed.
Yeah,
man.
bro.
Thanks for tuning in.
Listen, guys. Obviously, it wasn't the result that we wanted and what we was looking for. Yes, the positive ray is that we didn't lose, but obviously some concerns. Let's hope that the next got 3 days really until Villa. Let's just hope on a training ground, so to speak, that he can actually turn things around and get things moving again. Because Villa are going to be no mugs, especially the likes of Danny Ings, etc., Ollie Watkins playing and buzzing around. So our defense will be tested. This team, they do it to us big time, don't they? Flip's sake. But guys, listen, thank you again for your presence and everything. Any last words from anyone? Any?
Tune in tomorrow. Gunslingers and the breakdown, innit?
Yeah, it's a busy day tomorrow, man. We've got the breakdown and gunslingers. We'll obviously the gunslingers will let you know what that will be about tomorrow. But until then, thank you guys and stay blessed.
Peace.